Hello, is that better? Is that better? Hello, sound. Is that better, you guys? Okay, good. Sounds on. Great. You guys, let me just start everything again. Hi, everyone. Of course, I'm NiiNiiFC. This is Blue Lines TV. And today I'm bringing you the match review on our 2-1 defeat into Milan. To kick things straight off, of course, I'm going to be talking about the lineup. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be discussing and thinking, of course, it's only a pre-season game. And it's nothing to really worry about. But we have to realise immediately that, you know what? We haven't had much of a preseason. We haven't been able to play too many friendlies. And we really need to take it seriously to boost our chances. And really, the first team lineup that Conte brought out today is going to be the team we're going to be seeing against Arsenal in the Community Shield next week. And, of course, it brings up a lot of interesting things. The first one is on Alvaro Morata. Now, I'm going to start off by talking about him straight away. And you know what? I was not surprised at all with how Conte used him because we saw him use him like this exactly the same in the last preseason game against Bayern Munich, where he wants him to drift out wide, and then of course when we're building the attacks, he can move infield to then support Michy. And Conte is probably thinking this is better because then there's more of an aerial presence in the box, and this should give us a different dimension in our attack because now the wing backs can maybe put in more diverse types of crosses because now Morata and Michy are able to get on the end of them. And that in turn is going to give more, it's going to make it difficult for opposition defenders to really be able to cope with that. But again, that's the theory of how everything's supposed to work. But the actual reality is completely different because, again, if you're stopping Morata from getting in those positions, then it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. And this is what was happening time and time again in the Inter game. He was isolated out wide a lot. Whenever he did try to make a pass and move in field, we were losing possession. I must say I was not happy with Michy's performance today, and there's a reason why Morata was signed. And immediately when you see Morata play, especially when he's deeper, his first touch is just better. It's quick, it's instant. He gets the ball, one touch, he's turning, he's running, and that's really going to add a great facet to our game. And this is something that was one of the main things we needed to really strengthen and improve tactically for next season, because of course, like I keep saying, when we play with a front three, they're the most essential part in the team because they must be able to be good under pressure, good at keeping the ball, and good at hold-up play, because if they don't, the wing-backs can't get forward, and the midfield can't get forward, and the defence can't push up, and then this is how we become susceptible in the counter-attack. And that's something that was happening, it's been happening quite a lot throughout this pre-season, and it's definitely to do with up front, and it's definitely to do with Michy. Now, especially in the last game against Bayern Munich, twice Michy lost the ball higher up. Twice, that was 2 counter-attacking opportunities that Bayern Munich scored from, and that shouldn't be happening. And I'm really surprised that, of course, I understand Conte is showing faith in Michy. Obviously, Michy's been showing things in training. He's getting the manager's faith. Michy is a fantastic finisher of the ball, but you cannot forget that. He's a left foot, right foot. He's fantastic, but his overall hold-up play just isn't at an elite level that we need. And especially, it is unlucky because the way Conte set up the team, it's imperative that the striker is very good technically, very good staying deep, playing with his back to goal and everything. That's not Michy's game. Michy's always been a poacher in the books, last line of defence type of striker, so it's something he's really had to adjust to. This is what Morata was when he was a teenager. Of course, when he went to Juventus and Real Madrid, that's really helped him boost his all round play, all round game, and you can see what the type of player he is. And I'm going to get into the second half later, but of course it was quite annoying to not see him play with Boga and Musonda. I was really hoping that was going to be the thing, but I'm hoping that Conte isn't going to continue with this tactical instructions and set up for the Arsenal game, because I really think that's going to be a massive detriment to how we play. But I have a feeling that Conte will continue with that. But the few things Morata did show, again, you have to understand he was very limited in his capacity with what he could fully do because of the role he was playing and because he was getting isolated and wasn't able to actually link up and move in field to be more of a presence. But you have to look at his stuff like his first touch, his movement off the ball, his pressing. You can see that the first touch was the key thing. The hold-up play was the key thing to me. And I'm really hoping that Conte is actually going to play him as the main striker by himself against Arsenal, because that's going to be much better for the team, especially when Willian will be playing and Pedro will be playing, and maybe Boga Musonda might get a chance too. I think that's going to be key for how we play. But again, Morata, I'm liking the guy. I'm getting really excited, but by what potentially he's going to bring, because I feel that that's going to be one solution that's going to be fixing the team, and that's really going to help us push on. And the only other position we need to push is left wing back. If we can get Alexandra, I think we're the best team in the country. That's the only player we need. But again, moving on. Now, we're very susceptible to the counter-attack, and as I said, it's the inability to be efficient with our possession higher up. And one thing I've noticed throughout this pre-season is our midfield just hasn't been as dominant, and this is a problem with their setup that Conte has, because again, the midfield plays more of a support role. They're not really able to facilitate and really control the game. And I feel when you've got Conte and Fabregas, those two alone are, in my opinion, good enough to be dictating games and controlling. So this is why I keep stressing and emphasizing that we should adapt our attacking play to make use of a lot of players, qualities. And, being a team that's better on the ball and uses the flanks better in our hold-up play and our attacking play would really take the team to another level. Because I think there's certain times when you play that has to be the case. With defense today, again, it's really hard. There weren't many players making huge individual mistakes today. I wouldn't really say that. I really feel the goals we conceded and the chances we were giving to Inter Milan were stemming from the system. Now, I keep saying this all the time, and I'm going to keep saying it again because I want everyone to remember this. When we play quick balls to the front three. They have to hold it up. The minute the front three get it, that's when the wing backs push up. That's the jobs. Wing backs aren't full backs. I know a lot of people are thinking, they're out of position, No, the wing back's job isn't to be behind the halfway line, close to the defence. That's not their job. Their job is to basically be like an extra wide man in midfield to facilitate the play, create the width, help create the chances. Now, the minute they're going up and the ball's lost, they're in no man's land. And that means we're too short in midfield because now it's Conte and Fabregas. Now, at the same time, Fabregas is a more advanced guy. That's his role in the team. Kante's a bit deeper. But then they have to start running 20, 30 yards further out wide to cover the space left in by the wing backs. And then what happens when that's the case? We're exposed in the middle. And time again, it's been happening. And I really feel to really, here's the thing. Of course, it's not the main full Chelsea team yet. Bakayoko's not there. Hazard's not playing. Sandro, we don't have that new left wing back coming in just yet. So again, don't take my criticism too harsh. I'm just telling you what the problem is, how we need to improve and why we are going to get better, because again, once those players come back, that's really going to change everything. And of course, with Morata playing further up front, we are going to be a better team than we were last season, in my opinion. That's without a doubt. But I'm just highlighting the problems that are the reason why we could have been better last year and why we will be better for this season going on. And again, that is the main thing, is counter-attack. So it is quite weird because Kante is that's his job, but of course with Bakayoko being in the team, that's going to help a lot more. With Fabregas, he's going to be playing the same way he was playing last season for us, and it's not because he's a bad player or Conte doesn't like his defensive work rate or stuff like that. It's just the fact that with the system Conte wants, he needs two midfielders like Kante, Bakayoko, who really are like defensive screens, support the play, cover the spaces left in behind by the wing backs, and that's the main reason tactically for why that's going to be the case. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Bakayoko is going to bring. I'm really hoping that Conte is going to give Bakayoko the more advanced position, because I think with his driving runs, I think they're better than Kante's, and I think that if he could develop to be a more all-round box-to-box midfield player, I think we've got a much better chance with him fulfilling that role compared to Kante, who's 27 years old. Bakayoko's like 5 years younger. I think he's got a lot more potential for that, and it's going to be exciting to see. But again, moving on to the rest of the team, Willian was decent. Again, it's much harder for him. Now, I keep saying when Willian's playing on the left-hand side, you see a completely different player to the guy playing on the right. And I really feel when Willian on the right, he's kind of a bit isolated. He can't really link up as effectively. Willian is much better cutting inside, where he's able to shoot because he's got a fantastic right foot shot, fantastic finish on the right. That's to play a more support role. And sometimes the link up with Moses and Willian is a bit jaded. It's not as fluid as it should be. And I think that's because obviously really you need another player creating space for those two to utilise. But then, the midfield's not really allowed to leave their position under a Conte system, so that doesn't help. Like I said, my opinions on Mitchell. Haven't been too impressed since the Arsenal game, really, and this is why he's the second choice striker. And it's kind of weird. I kind of feel with Mitchell, maybe he came to Chelsea a bit too early. Of course, don't get me wrong, he's got fantastic attributes. His finishing, attacking play in the box, but especially with this system now, it's about emphasis on hold-up play and what you do without the ball and what you do with possession. And, he's just not up to the level compared to Costa. And now with Morata coming in, who's just much better in that capacity. But yeah, Inter get a fake penalty. Honestly, the standard of the refereeing has been ridiculous, but that's something to expect with a lot of referees from outside Europe. The quality is not as high, the leagues aren't as intense, so mistakes like that are bound to be made. And again, it was never a penalty, but Courtois should have done better. I'm sorry. He went into position, he got it, but then the ball bounced behind him still. That shouldn't be happening. I'm just going to put that down to pre-season, and that's why things like that happen, but it wasn't good enough by Courtois. He knows that himself. Must move on for that. But then moving on to the second half, again, it was a bit more of the same stuff, really, tactically. Inter were retreating and playing a bit more on the counter-attack, especially after being 2 goals up. And yeah, we changed things on by bringing on Boga and Musonda, and I thought they gave good accounts of themselves, especially Musonda. If anything with this pre-season, I think it's finally shown a lot of Chelsea fans who maybe haven't been as fortunate to see some of them play in La Liga with Betis and Granada, which is understandable. I mean, everyone's got their lives. There's not as much time to see everything. You know what I mean? That's completely understandable. But if anything, it's shown a lot more Chelsea fans the quality that these players can bring and what they can add. And I'm really hoping... I've heard rumours that potentially they could both be going on loan. I'm not even going to get into that right now. That's going to be for a future Transfer Daily video. But I'm really hoping with this pre-season, Conte is actually going to bring them into the team, give them more chances and see what can happen. Now, I really think if we see any of them or both of them play against Arsenal in the Community Shield, then I think that's guaranteed their starting places in the team for next year. But Musonda is driving runs. Link-up play was very good. And you could say his pressing on Kondogbia, because here's the thing. Musonda's criticised for being very weak, but whenever you see him play, he always goes in for a tackle. It's something he does not shy away from. He likes to get physical. He'll get in there. And that's a very good factor in his game. And, one of the reasons why Kondogbia scored one of the greatest own goals in football history was the fact that Musonda went straight in for him and pressed him straight away. So it forced Kondogbia to play it back to the keeper. Of course, he got the techers wrong, but that was well played by Musonda. And I'm hoping that's something Conte's going to look at and think, his off-the-ball defensive rate is good. Maybe I can rely on this guy a bit more. I'm not going to feel we're going to be susceptible. Boga as well. Again, he was decent. Again, it was quite frustrating because a lot of those balls that he was playing quickly to, those first-time quick passes into Mitchie, where Mitchie's supposed to relay it back, Mitchie wasn't getting it right most times. And that's what really frustrates me about Mitchie. And this is what I was really hoping. If Morata was there, Morata, that is his bread and butter. That's something he eats up, especially in those central bit areas. It could have been more exciting for him. But again, there were some good moments. That delivery right at the end, the driving runs him in the free kick, some of his quick passes and things like that. But again, I felt our play, especially as Inter were defending, and this is what I keep saying, this is why I keep emphasising we need to start utilising the flanks way more in our build-up play. In a way, the wing-backs are using more supportive capacities where, they just position themselves there to wait for passes. But here's the thing. When Inter were defending deep, a lot of our play was going in through the middle. And when you try and play through the middle, it is easier to defend because, of course, there's no last man runs. There's nothing really stretching opposition defences. And this was something that Inter were quite comfortable. And I must say, I think they're young. I forgot what the defender's name is. Skrinic or whatever. Skriniar, the blonde defender for them, was really impressive in defence. I must say, was very good, very accomplished. And that was really bread and butter for them. And I don't think we stretch them enough as we should. And I really feel that if we did tell either Musonda, Berger, really stay out wide, we're going to build our attacks out wide and then bring it back to the middle to really stretch, you know what I mean? I think we'd have greater luck. But again, the play was just too narrow. It was way too narrow, and Inter in a way was kind of easy. Now, of course, we created our chances. Mitchie, it was a goal. And again, another poor refereeing decision. That was the equaliser. Game would have gone. Maybe that was the catalyst to make us win the game or we go to penalties. But again, that was taken out of our hands by poor officiating, which is quite frustrating, and I hope that's not going to be the pattern next season in the Premier League. Um, but again, this pre-season hasn't been the best. There's been moments. There's been some good moments, of course, as it's gone on. But a lot of moments during the context of games where I'm not seeing the same evolution. And of course, let's be serious, it's quite frustrating to Conte, especially because some of the signings that he wanted to bring in were delayed. Bakayoko should have played a role by now in this pre-season. Same thing with Rudiger. He should have played more. And I must say, Rudiger coming on was good. He looks accomplished, and he does look nice in that Chelsea shirt. I mean, I honestly think I'm going to be buying every Chelsea shirt this season because it actually looks really good. He was looking very good. His distribution from the back, his positioning, he slotted in seamlessly. Aspie, I thought Aspie was decent as a wing back, and I keep stressing this. We don't need to sign another guy on the right because Aspie is more than capable of covering if potentially Moses was ever injured. So that's something we don't need to worry about. If anything, it's left wing back, and the same problems keep stemming. And I think that, again, especially because we are susceptible to the counter, maybe it's a natural thing because of the system we play. This is why, of course, we've got the Bakayokos and Kantes in midfield, but I think Alonso, Cahill, that needs to improve. Now, I felt it was weird that we didn't see Rudiger play on the left, and if anything, it's looking like maybe Rudiger might be taking a position on the right, and that's where Conte sees him, which of course makes more sense because Rudiger has played as a right back, and he's always played on the right of defence. I mean, he can play on the left, but I was thinking, Zuma, why did we sign when we had Zuma? If anything, why didn't we have someone for the left? Because I really think Cahill cannot be the option, and it really looks like he's going to be continuing into the next season as one of the first team choices in defence. And honestly, I think it is quite baffling. I'm hoping that as the season goes on, that's going to change. It was disappointing to not see Christensen play a single part in this game. And if anything, I think we're starting to see patterns that Christensen is going to be the fourth choice defender in the team. Fourth or fifth choice in the team. And it's quite frustrating. But I'm not going to get too negative or too angry because it hasn't started yet. I need to judge the Community Shield and the next 2-3 games of the season to really get a clear picture and understanding of how our season's going to be for next year, because I like to think of a lot of variables and circumstances before I make any predictions. Now, last season, a lot of you guys know that I predicted right after we beat Manchester United that's it, we've won the league, because the system we had at the time was perfect for the players we had, and it was finally width out wide that we needed to really take us to the next level. I haven't seen anything through this pre-season to really see how we're going to go to the next level just yet. But at the same time, a lot of our new players haven't really been able to play at all. So, this is the risky thing with not having a long pre-season. But really, what can you do? You've got to make the best with your options. And at the end of the day, pre-season isn't necessarily like the clear context of what's really going to happen. This is why I'm saying I've got to see the first 3 games of the season to get an idea, because if you look at the other teams like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Milan, I mean, they've all been losing. They're not bad teams all of a sudden. They haven't become worse. It's just what pre-season is about. And Arsenal, I'm really thinking with their lineup by Conte today, that really is going to be the first team in the Community Shield, and I'm not too sure how I feel about that. It is quite risky. I'm really hoping that Morata is just going to be the number 1 in that game, because by then Pedro and the likes should be fit, or if anything, Musonda and Berger have shown during this pre-season they can play a part, and they can play with the players we have. They're not inferior. The qualities and attributes they have complement the players that they have around them, and it's not as if they're losing the ball consistently and making the wrong passes and just looking out of their depth. It's not the case at all. So I really think Conte needs to trust them, and just because of the type of players they are, that's going to suit the team more. I think reverting to a 3-5-2 honestly is not the way. I keep saying this because, again, next season teams are going to be parking the bus. You heard it here first. They'll be parking it. A 3-5-2 is going to make it hard to break them down. I want to see performances where we're winning games in the first half and it's easy wins. I want to see 3-0 wins, 2-0 wins, 3-0 wins, 4-0 wins. I don't want to see 1-0 struggle matches all season, 2-1 wins and things like that. And I think that playing that type of system is naturally going to create the type of football like that, which we saw at the end of last season. And I think that, of course, this is really the whole point of transfer windows, is to upgrade tactically with players to suit the system. So then your attacking play and everything is much more efficient and much better. But again, I keep saying it, until I can see all the new players playing together, it's going to be really hard to assess Conte's new plan. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him just yet and be like, oh, Conte this, Conte that, because he hasn't had a chance to really show any tactical evolution he might have in mind at this moment in time. But anyway, you guys, I think that's going to end the match preview today. Match preview. It's going to end the match review for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, going to be having the match review for the Community Shield next week. And next week is going to be a new segment in the channel. I'm going to do my first match vlog. So, of course, when I go there, you're going to see me going to the stadium. You're going to see the ambience of it. You're going to hear some of my thoughts as the game goes on. And I got to warn you, when I go to matches, I'm completely different to how I come across, talking to you guys and doing their match reviews. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I swear a lot. I get angry. You think like I'm a Yerda fan. I'm not going to lie. You're going to think like, this guy, when did NiiNii become a Yerda? That's what I'm like. Because obviously I just get wrapped up in the emotion, the passion of the game and stuff like that. So, don't expect some of the most analytical thoughts. That's what the match reviews are for, because by the time the match is over, I've calmed down and, like my brain's back in place again. So definitely tune in for that. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be sick. Shout out to official Harison. The guy's been doing amazing edits, thumbnails, templates. He's really helped bring my vision of the channel to life. You guys, give him a follow on Twitter. That is @official Harison. If you need any headers or thumbnails done, he's been doing it for the likes of Hazardinho, Conte tweets, and many others. And he's getting a lot of work in business. So if you like the style and design of how the channel is, give him a follow, and he'll make your vision come to life too. Thank you guys for watching the match review. And and good news to Andy. Obviously the partner on the channel. He's finally got a new camera, and it's not just a webcam, it's a legit camera. So it's my turn to step up. Hopefully by next week I've got my camera too. So the channel is looking very positive, you guys. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching the match review today. I'm NiiNiiFC. The Snapchat Q&A is going to come out on Monday. I've got something really busy, and there's going to be a special announcement on Monday as well. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.